and then have Vader appear and never really reveal that they were the same person, therefore saving the episode 5 twist. Like, they were going to make the viewer think that, you know, they were two different guys because they were going to cut away and then later on show Vader. I think that might have been a better way to preserve the Empire twist, but it's one of those things where I also feel like people who grew up with the OT, they go to see Revenge of the Sith and they want to see Anakin turn to Darth Vader. So it's like, as a writer, Lucas was kind of handcuffed. He couldn't do either one without ruining something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think who did it? Belated Media, great YouTube channel, has like the kind of his own version of the prequels, and that's something he touches on, is like, is it possible to have it so that the mystery is preserved? And I think that would have been challenging. I think maybe what would have been a little better is if Anakin weren't the central focus of the original, of the prequels. I mean,
make it about Obi-Wan.
Yeah, partly, or maybe even just brand new characters with Obi-Wan and Anakin kind of on the periphery, where it's not all about his birth. And yeah, maybe we can just hear that Anakin Skywalker's been killed, but now there's this guy Darth Vader. They can even have the rumor Darth Vader killed Anakin, and now he's after us.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah. I mean, it's easy to worked on. Like, I have no experience writing films or making films, but it's a lot easier to do what we're doing now. But I guess that's just it was painting himself into a corner to a degree that, like, yeah, if you're gonna make it all about Anakin, show these things, because I mean they were some of the most emotional parts of the movie, is like seeing Darth Vader and hearing the breath, and it would have been a different film if they didn't include all that stuff.
Yeah, I agree. And the thing that's interesting is if you really do your research on the history of Star Wars, the original idea, okay, Lucas was already bouncing around ideas for sequels as he was shooting the first Star Wars, but he didn't know he was going to do it or not. And one of the things, of course, that's been talked about by a lot of historians is the fact that the original idea for the Star Wars story was going to be, you know, the adventures of Luke Starkiller, and it was going to be about Luke. And now, if you ask George Lucas insists that we all watch 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because now the story is no longer about Luke. Now the story is the tragedy of Darth Vader. That's the whole story, that we're supposed to watch 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 as if it is the life story of Darth Vader. It's not really about Luke anymore. And I find it fascinating, Alex, man, that's changed. Like, literally the narrative has changed as the years have gone by. There's a very good book called The Secret History of Star Wars that covers this tremendously. Now, I want to talk to you about Episode 7 and Rogue One, okay? Star Wars Renaissance, it's back. We both agree. 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3. How do you handle 7? Do you go 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3? Or would you recommend still doing at least order 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, then 7? And do you think, because what I did, Alex, man, is I already know these movies by heart, but, you know, with my friends and you know, people who I went to go see the movie with, we rewatched the original trilogy to prepare for 7. Do you think that's a good idea at that point?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I did. I watched the original trilogy and then watched 7, but if you're introducing someone, like, all of these different orders are totally valid. If you're a diehard fan and you're just like, hey, what would it be like to watch it this way? Like, that's totally fine, but I think if it's your first time doing something, I think you should see it all in viewing order, in release order. So I would go 4, 5, 6, and I would go back to 1, 2, 3. Because if you go straight to 7, you're going to be more disconnected.
Exactly.
And also, I think it's important to build the anticipation for 7. Like, we had to wait, I don't even remember how long anymore.
10 years. 05 was the last one. Yeah, right.
Another story, just Star Wars period. What, like 30 years since Return of the Jedi, so there's some between Return of the Jedi and Force Awakens. I think it's
Yeah, and I think that I agree with you. For you, Nico should be 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, then 7, then Rogue One. But if you're gonna watch it a second time, I think OT 4, 5, 6, then 7 because 7 is so like close to 6, even though it really isn't. There's a lot of stuff happening in between 6 and 7 that we still don't even have all the answers to. Now, Rogue One, that's the one I want to talk to you about. I agree with you that Rogue One should be watched last, but I could totally see like if you've already seen the movies once, for new fans, I could totally see like Rogue One, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 1, 2, 3, Rogue One, 4, 5, 6, 7. But Rogue One is more connected to 4 than it is to 3. Now, how would you factor in the television shows? Because I don't know if the TV shows like Clone Wars and Rebels are necessary. I would suggest for those of you who are trying to get your friends and fiancé and spouses and girlfriends into Star Wars or boyfriends, whatever, I would recommend if they really like Star Wars, that should be supplemental material. But my question to you is, do you think they should watch Clone Wars in between 2 and 3 for the first time? Like if you're showing it to like a kid, let's say, should you go 1, 2, Clone Wars, then 3? Is that necessary?
Not necessary, but
because I mean, they did a lot of good. Clone Wars did a lot for the characters, man. I think.
I totally agree. I think that watching Clone Wars would make someone more sympathetic for Anakin. And yeah, I mean, I've never done that, and I never had that option, so I don't really know. But I could see that being maybe the strongest argument for just throwing something in between a movie.
Yeah, like you think maybe if for somebody for like a kid, you could do 1, 2, Clone Wars, 3, and then Rebels, and then that's it. Then we go to Rogue One. I mean that for the prequel era stuff, right? That makes sense. That could work. Now, last question. What do you feel about the Machete Order? Now, the Machete Order, for those who don't know, I believe it skips Phantom Menace altogether. You just watch it. It's going to be 4, 5, 3, 6. I'm not a fan of this at all. I think it's too convoluted. I think you're only doing it to preserve just the ending / twist. I don't like this at all. How do you feel?
If it's something that you just want to try out for fun and see what it's like, then yeah, sure. But if it's if you're showing someone Star Wars for the first time, I think it's totally going to throw off the flow going from Empire to Return of Jedi and having to like take this break to visit almost totally unfamiliar characters for 3 movies or even 2, and then you go back. Yeah, I think it's too convoluted.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's too like people are trying to like preserve the Empire twist, and I think
That's important, I think,
but you can preserve it by going 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, because I mean, yeah, exactly. I don't know. Okay.
I'll say that, but I think we had a better 5, 6.
Yeah, I do too. And as we get more of these Han Solo, like we got the Han Solo movie, that is going to be a prequel, obviously, because he died in Force Awakens. I do think that it should be watched again in this order. But they're going to be pretty cool on different parts of the anyways. For all we know, we may get a movie, and we may get a Splinter of the Mind's Eye like remake or something animated. Who knows what we're going to get out of Disney? So I think it should be maybe not exactly like Splinter of the Mind's Eye, you know what I mean? Something like in between 5. We might even get that one. Who knows, really?
I mean, yeah, the way Legends worked was authors would take stories and they would be randomly placed throughout the timeline, and that's books back in the day, because new books that would take place, like, say, a year after the Jedi would still have some connection, or they would have characters that were introduced in books like Heir to the Empire that took place 5 years after. Like, I remember Forrest Bailey, the New Republic politician, he's introduced in Heir to the Empire, but then he's also in the X-Wing books, which take place like 3 years before that. So it's kind of like, to get all of the connections, you should read them in release order so that you understand everything that's going on. They don't introduce or bring back someone who's already been introduced.
Yeah, and even that's now we have essentially the canon I'm sure that we will at some point either, I'm sure that the entire Star Wars community will probably get together and maybe create like a guide. There's already a few out there of what to watch or what to read because there's so much of it out there. It's Star Wars is huge. Everybody check out Star Wars Explained. I'm going to leave a link to his channel in the description. You probably already know who he is. Huge channel, very successful, and one of the nicest people like ever, bro. Like you're like the nicest dude. Yeah, like
Thank you so much for having me.
anytime. All right, thank you guys. And also let us know in the comments, section. Let us know what order do you prefer to watch Star Wars in? Do you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Do you go 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3? Warning, this video will contain spoilers for Rogue One, a Star Wars story. In Star Wars Rogue One, Darth Vader sliced and diced his way through an entire hallway of rebel troops with great vengeance and furious anger, seeking the Death Star plans. And we've never seen Vader actually chop through an entire legion of troops on screen. So regardless of whether or not you enjoy canon or Legends, if you're a Star Wars hardcore fan, you've seen Vader do ridiculously powerful things in the comics and in the novels, but never quite something like this on the big screen. So for people who have never read the comics and novels, they're probably wondering, well damn, how strong is Darth Vader? On this debut edition of Star Wars Discussion, a brand new series here on Geekdom 101, the legendary Stupendous Wave joins in to discuss how powerful Darth Vader actually is. And guess what? He's a lot more powerful than you could ever imagine. I don't know about you guys, but the vast majority of people I talked to when they were walking out of Star Wars Rogue One or Rogue One, a Star Wars story, the one thing that everybody was talking about was Vader, 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 Vader. That last sequence that closed the film, the last, 2 minutes or so of the movie, was a Vader fanboy's dream. And I want to make this video because I want to talk about how strong Vader actually is, because there's been a lot of misconceptions from kind of the casual Star Wars audience based upon their, just viewing of just the films versus viewing some of the extra material. And now for the first time in a film, we're actually seeing Vader, and we saw it at the end of Rogue One. Joining me to talk about this, please welcome for the first time ever on Geekdom 101, the Dark Lord of Star Wars YouTube. Please welcome Stupendous Wave. Hello, Stupendous Wave.
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for having me.
Anytime, man. So let's talk about Vader, bro. Now, you are a self-professed Palpatine fanboy.
Yeah.
I'm a Kylo Ren fanboy, but you and I can meet in the middle when it comes to Vader. Now, let's talk about Vader in the past. Okay, we've only seen Darth Vader in the suit fighting in film. In film with the original trilogy. We saw him fight Obi-Wan, we saw him fight Luke twice. Obviously, most fans know that by Return of the Jedi, obviously Luke was really, really powerful, and it was much more of a close fight. In Empire, most of the fan base knows that Vader was holding back. He did not want to kill Luke because he wanted to recruit Luke. But I think now, with Rogue One, for the first time, now really, I think it really hammered home just why Darth Vader was the most feared entity in the galaxy for like 2 decades, and why he is a lot stronger than anybody ever thought. So how'd you feel about that?
Yeah, it was definitely different, and you do have people, like, that's almost the first comment you read about Vader. Like, why is he so fast? This guy should have wrecked Obi-Wan, but it's all about circumstances, just like real life fights. Like, someone who's in better shape will lose to someone who's crazier or not as tired. It's just all about different factors that you have to take into account. And of course, Vader here, he's not fighting anyone that's force sensitive. He's not fighting anyone that has
beat him before. Yeah, right.
And like you said, exactly, the whole Luke duel in Bespin is a test, and like that's a test. And the Luke fight with Vader in Return of the Jedi, like Vader's conflicted during like that whole fight. So if you think about it, this is the only time, or yeah, the only time we've seen Vader not hold back in any regard on screen for the first time. And this is the result. It's craziness.
It was incredible. Now, in the EU, which has now become Legends, we've seen Vader do some incredible feats, and a lot of the fans, the Star Wars fans, we grew up reading some of this EU stuff, and we're just amazed at how strong Vader and Palpatine and Yoda and those guys were in the expanded universe of Legends. But with the recent Darth Vader comics that Marvel's put out, we've seen, and not just that, but also Rebels, we've seen Vader do things that we never thought could be possible. Well, I thought it was possible, but not in the actual film. Case in point, in season 2, episode 1 of Rebels, Kane and John testing Vader. Vader picks up the AT-ST, and in the Star Wars comic, or the Vader comic, excuse me, there's a scene where Leia and Chewie and Han steal the AT-AT, and Vader just destroys the AT-AT with the Force. And it was one of those things, where, like, in the 70s, like, obviously, okay, the obvious truth is that the movie A New Hope was shot in 1976, I think it was, 77, and obviously Alec Guinness is an old man. We didn't have technology to do, like, Christopher Lee doing flips, like we did in episode 2, and so, of course, the fight was shorter, but I think that the writing team behind LucasArts has really fixed this, because now we know a little more about what's going on. I want to get to that in a second, but the point is that we've seen Vader, as Darth Vader, do a lot of scary things in the comics and the TV shows. But a lot of people still think that this guy was just really old, and that's why the fight with Obi-Wan was so slow. But age has never been a problem in Star Wars, because you have Palpatine, who's an older guy, fighting Yoda in Revenge of the Sith, and they're doing crazy stuff.
Yeah, or like Count Dooku.
Count Dooku, and then Yoda is 900 years old and he's doing crazy stuff. I just never bought into the fact that Vader was too old during the fight with Obi-Wan. Oh, they're aged Jedi. I can't stand that, because age has never mattered in Star Wars, dude. The Force overcomes everything. So tell us, in your view, because my view's always been Vader was very cautious against Obi-Wan, because he remembered the first time they fought, he was reckless with him, like, his legs, his arm, maybe even his penis. I mean, Dash did a video about that. You don't want to lose that. Tell us, kind of what was actually going on in Vader's head during the Obi-Wan.
Yeah, it's very important to Vader that he shows Obi-Wan that he's more powerful than him. That's very important, and you can't show anyone that you're more powerful than them just by killing him outright. You don't have time to savor that moment. But at the same time, he doesn't know how powerful Obi-Wan is, so he has to prod and he has to find that out. He's being cautious. Not only is he cautious because this is a man that's hurt him a great deal in the past, but he wants to know, it's important to him to figure out exactly where he is. It's important for Vader not to be number 2, because that's all he is at the end of the day. And it's important for him to prove that he's superior, not just by beating him right away, but by taking a few steps back, prodding, maybe put an attack here, a different attack here, a different sequence here. See where the opponent is, see how they stack up to you, and then overcome them, which we do see. We see Vader quite effectively push him back, but again, that stuff takes a few steps to get to that point, and he's being cautious through all of it. But with that duel specifically, you can't just look at the fight. You have to look at the background, the history, and if you take it at the fight, yeah, it's a little bit slower, it's kind of boring, but you have to look at what's going on beforehand. You have to think of, if you were in Vader's situation, or if you were in Obi-Wan's situation, how would you conduct yourself during that fight? And I think the answer would be pretty similar to the way Vader did.
Very, very cautious and strategic, because, I think you and I can agree on this one. If Vader had gone all out, he would have chopped up Obi-Wan. Same thing with Luke. Vader would have destroyed both of them, I think, in episode 4 and 5, but he would be more at risk of making mistakes, and as a result of that is what cost him his, right? Now,
yeah.
Do you think that during the fight with Obi-Wan, that Vader may have been having like an Ahsoka moment where he was thinking back, and that's why he was not that focused, you think?
I think it's a big anger thing, because with Obi-Wan, like, that's the man he hates, like, second to only himself.
That's
And
deep, man.
Yeah, he's someone that he hates second only to himself, and it's not he all the hope or love that he had for Obi-Wan, for me at least, that burnt away in the lava, along with his skin. Like
Yeah.
it all went away. No, I don't think it's remorse at all. I think Dave Filoni put it perfectly. He says that the reason Vader doesn't flinch with Ahsoka is because if that were to happen, then Luke turning Vader would have been less impactful.
I agree.
Which is why I really respect them for not doing that, because you could really go like that route very easily, but they hold that back. It's very important that he does not give in to Ahsoka, and even more so Obi-Wan. Or although I would say like Obi-Wan, it's even I will never ever see Vader giving into Obi-Wan or even reminiscing about anything good with his master. I think it's all just covered by hatred. Like, think about it. In Rogue One, he literally lives in the place that reminds him of where that guy cut him down. So,
The birth of Darth Vader, essentially.
yeah, exactly. For a lot of people, that's where Darth Vader is born. It's not where, when he was deemed Darth Vader, he's not really Darth Vader. From that moment when he's cut down, he's Darth Vader. Like, that's where people see him truly be that